about to start doing some more Blender 3D. We're gonna actually have some fun, right? So yeah, welcome to the show. I just realized the music was kind of loud there. Yeah, so we're gonna continue making that that flask, that black flask or bottle that we started in the previous video. We're gonna try to finish that off, add some details to it. There's some details on there, add some text, and hey, that's gonna be another tutorial to mix in there with the cucumber tutorial and the onion kind of tutorial kind of video. So we're gonna jump right into that after a few minutes. Welcome and thank you for watching me. If you're watching me live on YouTube, you can log into YouTube and there's a chat. You could chat with me live. I used to be on Twitch, but I think YouTube is more my speed. Like this, I'm gonna say hello to the chat. There you go. And yeah, so let's get this party started. Okay, so we're gonna start right in here, but before I start, I'm gonna just jump in to a little beat that I made, and I put a little music video with some people dancing. I'm gonna show that again here on YouTube. So hey, let's get right to it.
Night, Mr. Walters.
Hey, yeah, so that that beat I made that beat, and the video is just a little excerpt I took from a YouTuber. She has a dance, a whole dance channel. Her name is Bad Girl Cassie, and check out her videos. She's awesome. Uh, let's take a little excerpt of that, and just kind of added it to my beat just to see what it will look like. But yeah, guys, you can check me out on SoundCloud. Everything there is free. I'm not charging for anything. It's just all in fun. So yeah, so let's get into Blender and let's get into this tutorial. I'm gonna switch over real quick here. There you go. Yeah, and we're gonna pick up from where we left off in the last video. So let's see. So I was doing a bunch of other things today, but here we are. Okay, so this is the this is the bottle. Let's hit a render on that. Ooh, that's looking fancy. Rendered in Eevee. That's a Eevee kind of quick render vibe going on there. Oh, if I add like a little occlusion on there, let me try some screen space reflections. Turn off half. Turn up accurate path tracing. Ooh, it's adding more stuff to it. Okay. I think there's even like a motion blur thing. I don't know if it's. Yeah, it's trying to work or turn that off. Let's see. Oh no. Anyways, guys, yeah. So let's move on. Let's look at the. Let's go into the image here. Why did this image rotate yet again? Seems like this image likes to rotate from time to time. Let me see the rotation on this. Could be 0. Nope. 190. And rotation is 0 here. Okay, back on track. Alrighty. So yeah, so this is what we got here. So if you notice, like on the actual image, I could bring up a separate thing here in Blender, a separate window. You do that by holding on to the corners and then pulling it up. I'm gonna turn on my screencast keys here. Okay, so I'm just gonna check the actual. So I'm gonna go image editor. And I'm just gonna bring up that image. Okay, here we go. So here's the image that we're working on now. I think there's some little like different changes in the, there's different changes in the surface of the metal part here, and there's some notches here, and that's so you could hold, you could have a good grip on opening the flask. So we're gonna try to do these things here in 3D. So let's come in here. Okay, so because we know we could see what this is here, I'm just gonna have this take over this section here. We're gonna focus on this. We're just gonna model in here. Okay, I'm gonna separate the cap so we could just work strictly on that. So I'm gonna press L. L makes you select it, and then P to separate selection. Righty, and then tab, and then hold back on this. I'm gonna put bottle and we'll call this cap. Cap. Just leave this as no, you could just name these. I call this part here the container, this part here the cap, and we don't have to get overly detailed in it. So I'm gonna go back into my side view here, go back into wireframe, and let's see what we have. So what we could do, we could just segment this because it's a repeating pattern. Let's go in top view here. Let's just do a quarter, right, of the cap, and then we can mirror back the quarter pieces to make back up the whole cap. So we could just do some limited modeling on it. So, oh, and this works because you know the notches are reoccurring, and the um, and the cap could be made back through symmetry or through mirroring, according to how you want to call it. So I'm just going to press P again to separate the selection. So I'm just doing a quarter of it here. Let's go into shading mode. Okay, let's see. So this looks like a little less than half of that there. So I am going to make the decision and do like use this right here. I'm just gonna press Z again for wireframe, and I'm gonna go back into my mode here. Yep, that looks like about that'll probably work. Okay, so we're gonna select a bunch of these and then extrude them and that kind of thing to make this work. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I am going to erase these loops right here. All right, so we have just this single thing happening here, and then we're gonna select all these, and then I'm gonna press I on the keyboard, right, to inset, but I'm gonna press the I again for individual. All right, we want the individual inset, right? And you notice how it's shaped like a pill, right? So we're gonna model all that in. Okay, so we do something like this. Let's make this a little bit smaller, not too small, probably like about there. And okay, so let's try one way of doing this. Let's just make a cut in here. Let's not do that as yet. Let's select the outer vertices, which are selected. And I'm gonna press B, right? But let's press V for vertex, right? And I'm gonna bring this all the way up so that the points that so I press V for vertex to bevel the vertex, and where it overlaps, I'm just gonna make sure that these points kind of overlap, and then I'm gonna press A, right? And then press Alt M to merge by distance, and it's merged by a very small distance, like 0.0001. So all these points are merged together, right? Now we're somewhat starting to get that shape there. Okay, I'm going to select this point here. Okay, let's go into edge mode. Select this edge here, that edge, that edge, that edge. Let's try this edge here too. Let's see, let's try this on 1 and see if we can get that shape back there. A little bit of a pill shape, right? So I'm going to press Control E for edge and then subdivide. Let's go into vertex mode, and you see that it made some points on the inner parts of these loops. This is where we want the points. And now what I'm doing here is just really rough and dirty kind of modeling here, just to get the basic shape as quickly as possible. There's many different ways you could do it. You could use booleans and different things like that, but we're just going to do it this way for now, right? And probably a boolean probably would have worked, and then you could clean that up, and then you have, because you know you're not going to animate it, so the topology somewhat matters, but not a whole lot for it to be like for edge flows and all that sort of stuff. So I'm just going to press S to scale, right? And we just scale it so it gets more of that kind of pill shape vibe going on. And I'm gonna B again, right? And when I press B, I pull it, and it's still in vertices, so I'm gonna do it so that we get somewhat equal things going on there. And you see we get that pill shape happening to 1, right? So we're gonna deck this one out, and then we're just gonna copy this on the other polygons. We're gonna do it like that, right? Yeah, and you can incrementally just rotate that to get that back. Okay, so we're gonna go here and we have that shape. The shape is not perfect, it kind of stops kind of hard there, but that's okay for now. Let's press E. Alright, and let's just scale again. I'm gonna press Alt S. Then, oops, let's not do that. Let's press I. Okay, so that's a little better. It's I. Right. Just to get an inset. I'm gonna go into shaded mode so you guys can see this better. Okay, I to inset, and then we're just gonna move this grab. Okay, that may be a little bit deep. Let's try that again. I to inset it just a little bit more. Actually, hold on. If I select this, I press Control, press E to extrude. Yeah, let's just press E. Right, and let's bring up the extrude. Okay, flip nose, extrude, move. Okay. We just extrude it in just a little bit. Let's grab. Probably a little bit like so. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, let's try throwing a subdivision modifier on there. Okay, so the subsurface modifier is showing you how this is kind of playing out. Matter of fact, you should have used a subdivision modifier to begin with. Now okay. So I'm just gonna to bring this in like a little bit like so. All right, and then I'm gonna extrude it like so, bring it in a bit. All right, let's try to do this without subdivisions, just, at least for now. I'm gonna select that loop like that. Right, and I'm gonna move it along the y-axis just a little bit. Right, and I'm gonna press B to bevel that, but I'm gonna press vertex to get out of the vertex version of that. Alright, I'm gonna do something like this. Okie dokie. Alright, so I'm just gonna expand that, and I'm gonna scale this the way this looks. So I'm gonna scale by holding shift. I'm holding shift Y. Scale it like so, bring it in a little bit. Then I want to scale on the x-axis to make it a little fatter. Okay. Okay, let's get back into the interior of this. I'm gonna scale this down some again. So I'm gonna press E to extrude it a bit. Oops. E, extruded this a little bit, and scale. Matter of fact, let's just scale it right here and see what we get. Okay, I see. So yeah, press E a little, E to extrude it just a little bit more. Scale it in. Matter of fact, let's not do that. Let's not do it like that. I'm trying to find like the best way to do this. So, okay, let's do the inset like so. And I'm just gonna grab Y and just move it back a little bit. And we're gonna weld these points right here. But before we do that, I'm gonna press Control R to make another inset cut right here. I'm just gonna bring that just going to scale that out a bit. And the interior one, I'm going to select this where it makes a, I'm going to scale that too. So I'm going to bevel it, I mean, so that interior edge, Control B. Right, so that we get a little bit more of a roundish vibe happening. With no subdivisions on it, on that. Yeah, okay. So I'm just gonna weld. Let's weld these points here. Select these points here, and let's go all them. And then I want it to be at the center. Let's just see what we get here. Yeah, so to be able to distribute this is probably where it's at. So I'm gonna select this row of vertices right here. Let's press S for scale, or maybe, yeah, let's press S for scale it in a bit. Let's take a look. So I'm looking at how this is being contoured. Grab Y, bring that back a bit. Okay, that's like this outer edge here. Let's just scale that a little bit more. Okay. Now, yeah, there's, when you're doing this kind of stuff, there's many different ways to approach this, right? There's many different ways. This is the way that I'm gonna approach to do this right now. But, you know, as you get to, you know, get familiar with doing this, you know, doing modeling and that kind of thing, you know, you pick the way that works, you know, that works for you. And there's no one best way to do anything. It's always kind of like a preferred method. Some methods are a lot faster, yield better results, you know. And some, I'm gonna delete these faces. Okay, so I'm gonna actually duplicate this. I know Blender has like an array tool, so let's see what that's about. Here's an array. Yeah, so I think the array is like that. UV's cap, object offset. Okay, so yeah, there's no way to array this. Constant offset, caps, ends, check curve. Okay, so easiest way, just select this and make this your center right here. Let's go back here, select that, right? And then we're gonna Shift S and cursor to selected. And then you're just gonna move that center over. You know, I assign mine to the insert key where it makes the center right there. And we're gonna see how much rotation it takes to get this to rotate, to evenly rotate to the correct position. So I'm gonna press Control D, right? And we're just gonna come over here. To the item, and the rotation should be on the Z-axis, right? I'm just gonna just rotate it just to see, and I'm thinking it's just like 10, right? Wow, it's like 11.4 something. I'm gonna go with 11. Let's just see. Oh, no, it really is 11. No, that's interesting. 11.3. Wow. You select these two, duplicate those. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna rotate it along the Z-axis until we get it somewhat close. Yeah, 22.6. Yeah, so it's just multiplying. Okay. I mean, it's just adding, my bad. So, yep, we're just continuing that. Grab Z, rotate. Mm-hmm. Okay. Effects rotate 2. And we're gonna do the last set right here. Rotate. Rotate. Okay. Okie dokie. So, okay, so we have this all done up. Now, if you look at it, we just have to merge these and merge it in the right ways, and we should be set. So I'm just gonna select all those like that. I'm gonna go Control J, merge that, select all that, go A, and then remember that merge distance. I'm gonna try. We're just gonna increase it a little bit to capture all the points. Not so much, not so little. We might have to type this in. So I'll go 1 on here. Yep. We're just gonna inspect it to make sure that we don't have anything that's merged in a dumb way. Well, that shouldn't be merged, that's merged. Okie dokie. Look like we got everything here. Alright, so with this done, we could just get rid of that guy. And what we could do here is to mirror this guy. So let's go mirror. So we mirror it this way and then we mirror it that way. Right, notice this overlap right here. So that's where this merge could come into play. Let's just merge it just enough to get rid of those seams. Okay, that should work. Should be set. Okay. So we got that kind of handled. You notice this weird thing right here? That's because, like, when I was doing this, the vertices kind of shifted. You know, we could fix stuff like that, but for now, this is cool for now. For this tutorial, as you do this stuff, you know, you could get all into that and really just get that working properly in the right way. Okay, so merge. All right. So let's just collapse this. So let's go. So you select the object and you could go, you know, you could collapse it as a thing. Let's press A and let's do that merge distance again. Make sure everything is all nice and square. I think I'm gonna go here and just put I think that's fine. That distance is fine. Just double check. Select one piece and let's move it around. There you go. Alrighty. We getting there. Alright, so I noticed the top, this looks a little longer, and that's fine because we can now go into wireframe. Select the bottom row of vertices here, like so, and we could just move those up, right? Go back into solid, grab Z, let's move it up a little bit just to kind of get it a little bit closer. Okay, and the top here, Z again. Go into a perfect orthographic mode. Just grab this part here. G and this press down, come down. Oh, notice all that's kind of messing up. So G, C a bit. Let's just scale that out, smidgen to get that back. Okay, that should be fine. Okay, so let's go back. All right, so that's coming along somewhat. Let's see the bottom part here. Okay, so this part here is a little tricky. You know, it's a little tricky, but it should be somewhat the same principle. Okay, so I'm gonna select this part here. Let's press P. Okay, select separated that. Okay, let's go to top view, Z. Oh, wireframe. Okay, I'm just gonna select this part here. Invert that. Invert that. Oop. Let's go into face mode. Let's invert it. Okay. X to delete. Delete faces. Select this part here. X delete faces. Okay. So I'm thinking it has one notch here, another notch there. Okay. And these are like pieces that are kind of taken away from it. Now, you know what? I could sure, let's use a boolean. Boolean. Okay, so this will be good to show this technique also. So let's go into, let's bring our cursor to the middle. To bring the cursor to the middle of the scene, press Shift C. Okay, let's just save this. And I'm going to use a cylinder. Cylinder needs to be a little bit bent or something like that. But yeah, let's see what we get. So let's go into cylinder. I think this should be enough. Let's just scale that. Scale it Z also. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Okay, let's go into solid. Oops, solid mode. I'm gonna select this and move this around. Actually, I'll leave it here and I'll just move the actual cylinder part. No, we could just move the cylinder part and then we could move the cursor like that, like so. Okay, so here's the cylinder. I'm gonna add some subdivisions to the cylinder like so. Okay, gonna go smooth also. Alright, so we got our cylinder scale and a Shift Z on that. Alright, and I'm gonna bring this cylinder over here. I want the cylinder to kind of slightly wrap. Let's make the cylinder a little bit fatter. Like so, maybe. I want it to kind of wrap on the edge there and then kind of come out. So I'm going to rotate it into place somewhat. Something like so. Oops. You want to make sure when you're doing that kind of thing, you want to be in local. Yeah, so let's try local. So local, rotate. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna rotate something like so. Just watching that shape. And I'm gonna bring it out a little bit like so. I just want to rotate it out a little bit more, like so. It's really shallow. And it's a little bit wrapped. Okay, so let's go into here. Let's see what modifiers we have here in Blender. So the modifier that we want. We want a deform modifier. Cast curve, displace, mesh deform, simple deform. Okay, this is what we want. Simple deform, we want bend. Yep, but we just want to bend it something like that. That's not bad as is. Scale Z again. Make it a little bit fatter. I'm just watching this to see. No, what we could do, we could actually come in here and let's just add the boolean. Alright, select the object. Cylinder, and let's select the cylinder, and let's make this, let's display this. So if you select the cylinder and you come into viewport display here under the object properties, it's a texture. You could go wireframe just to see the effects. You see what it's doing here? That's kind of the effect that we want. Scale, go Z, make this a little bit so, like so. Okay. And I think this is good enough. So I'm going to, oops. I'm gonna add another one, but first of all, I'm gonna parent it to something that where I could rotate it. So I'm gonna Shift A, go into empty, plane axes. I'm gonna parent this to that, to the empty. Okay, so the empty now has this on the cylinder, so I'm gonna duplicate that. Alright, and the empty number 2 with the cylinder in there, I'm gonna rotate that real quick so that we have another one like that. Yeah, this is where we can start making, so we have to add another modifier here, right? So I'm going to duplicate this modifier. Instead of using the same cylinder object, I'm going to use the new one, that way, this new one here. Here, select this another cylinder, so we got those two. Okay. Okay, so now I'm selecting the empties and I'm rotating these cylinders around the base of the model just to see. What we could also do now, we could also duplicate this. Let's do a mirror. So let's do mirror just to see what it will look like. Mirror like so, and let's mirror it back the other way. See, so we could look. Okay, so I think this needs to rotate. Oops, not that. We need to rotate the empty of the first one. Oh, too much. Okay, let's rotate this back a bit. Not like that. Yep, like so. And then let's come in here. Rotate the second one. Okay, so basically what we're trying to do is to get like a perfect thing. So let's see how much this is rotated. Okay, it's 40, that's right. Okay, so this is looking cool so far. Let's add a subdivision on this after the fact. So afterwards we subdivide that. Now notice this has a little more of a peak to it rather than a oval shape, but that's because, you know, there's some other like things happening to it there. Maybe like a taper and that kind of thing. I think in here you could choose one or the other. Although that's not too bad right there. Let's put it back on the bend. Let's add another simple deform. Let's try for taper. Where is it tapering? Oh, let's go along the Z. Let's taper the other way. Oops, oh, this one, wait a minute. This is the bend. And this is a taper. Here we go. Whoops. Okay. merging. Let's try oh, don't like that. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, with the taper, I would have to rotate it, and no, this is fine for now. This is fine for now. We could I mean, it's a mesh, right? It has a bend on it. So what we could do, we could select this here and just kind of select that top there, and let's add let's do it, press O in the keyboard for proportional modeling, and we're going to scale this. But if you scroll your mouse wheel, you'll see the proportional modeling thing, effect area. So let's press scale. Let's just scale that in some. Let's see what effect we get. I like it. I like it just regular. Okay, so for now this is regular. If you wanted more towards what you know, towards what the end result is, then you know, you could adjust it to suit. So let's see. Go back here. Oh yeah, this was on X. Okay. Oh, alright, here we go. Okay, back on track. Alright, let's save this change here. So the subdivide, save the subdivision by, we're gonna collapse this entire thing. So the way you could do that easily is to convert the object into a mesh object. So you go convert, and then you go mesh. And it's a mesh, so you don't need all this other stuff. You don't need that, you don't need that, and you don't need these empties or anything like that. The only thing the only difference though is that because you subdivide it now, you know, it's a little bit off from what you know you would want. And now you know, like me personally, sometimes I would go in and I'll actually model this thing. But for the tutorial, to make it quick and to show a different technique, I just showed how you could get the effect there with you know, using booleaning. You know, using a boolean. So I'm just gonna scale this out because the boolean kind of made it a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna go to the top view, wireframe, and just scale it. So we get to the edge, and let's just go back, solid mode, take a peek. Okay, that's cool for now. Actually, just undo that. Let's bring it back. Let's see if we could subdivide this and see what happens. Alright, I should bring it into submission, subdivide the top also. And let's try subdividing this cap to subdivision. Yeah, maybe they kind of correct some of the issues there with the cap also. Okay. It's gonna come like so. Let's bring this down to the edge there so it's kind of tight. Alrighty, and you know, you could do the same thing, convert these to meshes, and that should be fine. Okay, so if we go into wireframe now, take a look at that. You know, they considerably have more polygons, you know, and you know, Blender is so good, you could go in and you could optimize this, but because this is just a still thing for now, And of course, if you're gonna add it to a game, you would definitely want to to lessen the amount of polygons, and you could do that by using a you could use it by using the decimate modifier. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so there's that. Ooh. So many subdivisions. Nice. I'm just gonna mark here again. Gonna add a seam. Alright, gonna undo these. Oop, go back, seam. Gonna go Control E. Gonna mark seam. And just these right here, from here to here. Holding Control to select from there to there. Right click, I'm gonna clear seam. Yep, so it just wraps around just the bottom there. Yep, this is already good to go. And this looks somewhat fine. You know, this, you'll probably need to just fix this. There you go. As a matter of fact, yeah, I think that's fine. And let's do the other side here. Yep. And let's do Control E and go mark seam. And then from here to here, and then here, I'm gonna right click and go clear seam. This is okay. So the seam stops right up to there. Okay, just so that in case we need to unwrap, we'd have all our ducks quote unquote in a row. All right, so if we go back to the shading now you see it's looking more like this right here, because we added in, you know, just some of those few details and that kind of thing. All right, so you know, you could add text to this, and you could do the text in several ways. You could do the text, but I can show you one way, because we could put our own text on here. All right, you could use you know, you could use Blender and do your own text, you know, render it out, bring it back in, that kind of thing. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to like an image editing program and do some text there, bring that text in and put it on the bottle. So let's fire up the Gimp. If you have Photoshop, you can use Photoshop also, but the Gimp is free and it's pretty cool to use. So let's go new. We're gonna do our new text, our own text, right? Let's make a black canvas, and we're just gonna use white text, because we could color the text in shading. So you're gonna click on the, matter of fact, to begin with, let's make sure we stick with some standards here for making text. Now this is called a texture, and once you're making textures in 3D, it's good to stick with square images. So let's go for this texture, let's go 2048. Mm, 2048 and 2048. Square size like that. Make that black. Let's just use a white. Let's just type some text in here. And of course I'm going to type xsinick. Select all this. It's on some kind of text called clean bold. You know what, let's just do something like this. Let's make it vertical like the one on the bottle. Okay. Let's have to extend this so you can see it. Let's try X. Oh, let's try it again. Here we go. Okay, clean bold. Let's just make the text bigger. Okay. Alrighty, so here we are. We have some text on here, and we're going to use this as a mask to put the lettering on. So I'm going to save this out here in Blender, and we're going to save this as, you can save it as a JPEG. We're going to use the black and white image as a mask. So let's go here. Oops, okay, where am I? Blender tutorials, bottle. Okay, .jpeg. Okay. Okay. So let's discard. Alrighty. So now it's all about getting into this shading room right here. I'm playing with this material for this. So I'm just going to open the thing over here and just going to get rid of that metal. So what we need is the painted. All right, we're going to merge, we're going to mix this. So first of all, we got to make sure that the placement of the text is going to be right. The way we do that is by unwrapping this. I'm going to select everything here, going to UV editing. All right, and make sure this is unwrapped properly on a square background. And I'm just going to open the mask real quick here. All right, and it's going to go going to go unwrap. All right, so it's going to do something, you know, funky like this. Kind of don't want it like that. So let's see. It's fine for now. What we're gonna do is let's select everything. Just gonna rotate 90. Rotate our. Oops. Let's turn the proportional off. 180. Okay. This represents the neck of the bottle right here. I'm guessing. Let's see. Let's try smart. Where's smart? Smart UV project. Let's try that. See what that does. Ooh, so that really splits up this in a smart way. Okay, so that's not bad. So I'm just gonna scale all of this. Now, UV editing is something that is essential. It's like a really good part, a good essential part of doing, you know, like 3D, you know, knowing how to do UV mapping is like a key thing. So, because, let's see, let's rotate here. Okay, so the easiest way, let's undo all that. Let's just, let's go ahead and pack it. right? I'm just gonna grab all of it, move down, and I kind of know where I want where I want this to be placed. So I'm gonna select this, press L to select the element, bring that element down. Oh, sorry, over here, like that, grab, bring the element over here. Okay, it's gonna make sure the elements are on the canvas, and I just want to put the logo just on. Go to my just on here, just on here, and this is what I want to unwrap. Let's go up one more. Okay, so I want the text to be just on there. Okay, so I'm just gonna unwrap just that and bring that, grab, select all of this, grab, GX, bring this over here. Okay, and that should work. Everything else is on the rest there, so it should just appear just on that. Let's take a look. So go back into shading. Let's turn the shading on. Okay, and let's bring our map in. So we're gonna go Shift A, texture, image texture. I'm gonna come here, select the xsinick mask, and I'm just gonna drop it right on the base. Okay, so you just gotta flip it because right now it's upside down. So let's go back to the UV editing. And let's rotate this. Rotate. Let's change this from. Oh, let's actually let's leave this right here. Rotate. Rotate and 180. Okay, let's go back to shading. See, it's right side up now. Let's go back to UV editing. Just make sure everything is all squared away. Grab, and then let's just move the UV island and just center everything as best as we could. Okay, so going back to shading, here we go. So now it has like our own vertical lettering. No, but you know, hey, I want this green, right? Because you see I'm a green bear here and I like green, so I'm gonna make this green. So what are we gonna do is make a separate material just for the lettering. And I'm gonna make it shine. So what are we gonna do? This is the material this is the painted material for the actual color of the bottle, and we're gonna use this thing here as a mask. So we're gonna Control D that to duplicate, Shift D, sorry, to duplicate, right? And we're gonna use a mix shader node. Shift A, and we come in shader and choose mix shader. We're gonna put this here. This is the bottom. Oh, or rather, sorry, this right here. It's kind of backward here in Blender, and I'm gonna change this to a color that I want to use. I'm gonna use like green, and then I'm gonna plug that in here, right? And I'm gonna plug the black up there, right? And the factor, I want it to be this mask. See that? So now the factor, plug the factor color in, which is a mask, and now it's like, okay, it's masking out here, but the lettering, if you look on a model, on any kind of you know, thing, sometimes the lettering's a little bit shinier because it's like a paint. So I'm gonna turn the roughness down on it a little bit. Oh, let's go here. This is the way. This is what I want. So the roughness down all the way. Okay. Okay, so it's happening. Let's turn this. Actually, leave the specularity like that. Let's turn the metallicness just a little bit up. Ooh. I'm gonna turn the metallicness just a little bit up like that. And the roughness, I'm gonna turn up just a little bit. Alright. You know, maybe you want a little raised effect on that, so I'm gonna use this as also a bump on the paint. So I'm gonna bring the factor. So we have this is fine, and this is the text coloring. Let's not give it like a complete, like, let's add a little black into that. So it looks like the black is affecting it a little bit. Let's bring this a little bit like that to yellow. Right. Okay, so roughness, a little specularity. I'm just gonna try to use this as a bump. So with that, you want to change this from sRGB and just use straight non-color. So that's, you know, what's affecting it. And we're gonna shift A, vector, bump. But it's a little bit much, right? Yeah, I think non-color is correct. Yep. And we just want to turn that down a bit. It's a little too much. Okay, so we just gave it a little bit of something. Just give it a little bit of a bump. There you go. So here it is, guys. That's it. Yeah, I think this is the end. Yeah, so this is what we got. You know, I should have been playing some music, but I'm sorry. Hit me any questions in the comments, you know, about any particular part of what we did here.